Today's story is about someone who really impacted me a lot over a few months. And she was calling me Viking a lot, and I was calling her Dear. And this story is about the few months that I got to know her and how positively she impacted me. Basically, yeah. After months, after months of endless sailing, a lonely Viking finally spotted a small island rising like a jewel from the vast blue sea. He didn't lack food, but fresh water had become scarce, and this island seemed to overflow with streams and springs. Relieved, he anchored his ship and stepped ashore. That night, under a sky full of stars, he slept soundly for the first time in weeks, comforted by the soft rustling of the forest. The next morning, as he prepared to leave, a curious creature caught his eye. From the edge of the woods, a nimble doe-eyed deer watched him with gentle curiosity. Its fur shimmered in the sunlight, and it had the faintest scent of something sweet, like vanilla. Though the Viking didn't know the name, the sweetness tugged at his heart. Although the Viking had planned to set sail immediately, something about the deer made him linger. It wasn't just its beauty, but the way it moved, the cautious but playful, bounding through the forest with awkward little hops that made him laugh in spite of himself. The Viking, though rugged and scarred from a hard life, had a kind and tender heart, and that had often been misunderstood by his cold and stoic kin. Day by day, he tried to get closer. At first, the deer would dart away if he stepped too near, but soon it allowed him within a safe distance. It never let him come too close, but it stayed nearby as it enjoyed his presence. In the evenings, the Viking would sit by the fire and the deer would lie just within the tree line, its soft gaze never leaving him. There was something magical about the creature. It seemed to sense his hidden wounds, the invisible scars left by years of bullying and loneliness. In its quiet way, the deer shared its warmth. The Viking began to feel lighter, like the presence of its heart was slowly, the pieces of his heart were slowly mending. He laughed more, he slept better, and even dared to believe that he was becoming someone worthy of the deer's trust. But the deer, though kind, was wild and free. Over the weeks, the bonds grew deeper, but the Viking noticed that the distance between never fully disappeared. No matter how much he tried, the deer kept part of itself just out of reach. And then one day, the deer began to drift farther and farther away, as if it gently preparing him for the forward. On the last day, the deer approached him one final time. It didn't speak, but the Viking understood. Their time together had been a gift, but their paths were not meant to entwine. The deer nuzzled his hand briefly, its warmth spreading through him like bittersweet goodbye, and then bounced back into the forest. The Viking, his heart heavy but full, returned to his ship, and as he raised sails, he looked back at the island, hoping to catch one last glimpse of the deer. For the moment, he thought he saw it standing at the shore, watching him. As the island faded into the horizon, the Viking smiled. He would always remember the deer, not with sadness, but with gratitude. It had given him more than he ever expected, healing, laughter, and memories he would carry forever. Though he sailed into the unknown, he felt a little braver, a little stronger, and a lot less alone. I even have like a deer on my head because people who impact me heavily, I want to keep them on my journey or something like that, symbolic. Anyway, that was the story. Hope someone liked it.